Now let's go into the Talmud. He says on page 83, it is again reserved to the Babylonian Talmud to tell a counter narrative to the New Testament's message. In fact, the opposite of what the New Testament proclaims, namely a most graphic and bizarre story about Jesus' descent into and punishment in hell. The Talmud, Babylonian Talmud says, Jesus went to hell and he's being tortured in hell. Okay, so he's going to quote this section. Okay, it's all there. The reference is what section of the Talmud. I'm trying to see if it's here in the endnotes. If in endnotes, you can find it. It's pages 83 to 85. 83 to 85. Now, quote, he, Ankelos, went and brought up Jesus the Nazarene, Yeshu HaNotzri, right here at the bottom of the page. Yeshu HaNotzri. So this is in the Talmud. So he summoned Jesus from hell. Remember, he's in hell, Jesus. So he summoned Jesus from hell. Okay? Out of their graves, him and other heretics. So they came out by necromancy, page 85, and asked them, Jesus and the other heretics, who is important in that world? The world to come. So they're asking Jesus and the other heretics who are in hell, in the world to come, who's going to be important? They, Jesus, the sinners of Israel, answered, Israel. Israel's important in the world to come. Okay? Ankelos, what then about joining them? Should we join Israel? Jesus, right? The sinners of Israel, look what they say. Seek their welfare. You seek the welfare of Israel if you want a part of the world to come. Seek not their harm. Do not harm Israel. Whoever touches them is as though he touches the apple of his eye, God's eye. You see what Christian Zionism has fallen for? They've fallen for the hype of the Talmud. They have bought into the lie of the Talmud. Now watch, Sonia, it's going to get worse. Look what he asks Jesus. Okay? Unkelus, what is your punishment? So Jesus and the sinner say, you see it, it's underlined. Do you see it? It's underlined. So Jesus in the Talmud says, we are being boiled with excrement. Jesus is in hell with the other heretics, and they're being boiled in crap. We are being boiled with boiling excrement. So the Talmud says our Jesus is being boiled in hell in crap, in shit. No wonder Tovia Singer and the rabbis don't want you to know this. And this is a scholarly reference. This is not some anti-Semite. Don't let them deceive you. I got more, see? So it says here on page 87, one of the names given to Jesus in the Talmud, he's called Balaam, because they wanted to hide the identity of Jesus in their sources. Balaam, and it says, and since Balaam enticed Israel into this sexual transgression, he is appropriately punished in the netherworld by sitting in boiling semen. Okay, that's one. We got a few more snippets. What do they say about the mother of our Lord? Look what it says here. Chapter 1, Jesus' family. Chapter 1, Jesus' family. Okay, talking about where do you find reference to Jesus' family? Okay, it is only in the Babylonian Talmud, and they're in two almost identical passages, that we do get some strange information that may be regarded as a faint and distorted echo of the gospel stories about Jesus' family, background, and his parents. Since neither source mentions, however, the name Jesus, but instead resorts to the enigmatic names Ben Stada, that was one of the names given to Jesus, he's Ben Stada, and Ben Pantera. They call Jesus the son of Pantera, a Roman soldier, because the Jews accused Mary of having sex with a Roman soldier who got her pregnant with Jesus. That's what the Jews taught. So they call Jesus the son of Pantera, a Roman soldier who slept with the Blessed Mother, siring Jesus. So that Jesus' father was a Roman. That's what the Jews say in the Talmud. So they call him Ben Pantera. But a lot of people don't understand that Pantera is a mockery of the Greek word Parthenos. Parthenos, Jesus is the son, right, of the Parthenos, the virgin. So they took the word Parthenos, virgin, and they turned it into the name of a Roman soldier, Pantera, to mock that he was born of the virgin. Yeah, I'm not lying. It's here. A scholarly source. So don't accuse this man of being anti-Jewish. Okay, now watch here. Let me read. And then it says that he, Ben Stada, brought witchcraft from Egypt by means of scratches and tattoos. Now, going to the section about his mother. Quote, pages 16 to 17. Here you go. Was he the son of Stada and not the contrary son of Pantera? So they're debating. Was Jesus' father Stada or Pantera? Who is his father? Now watch. Said Rav Hizda. The husband, Baal, was Stada. Her husband, Mary's husband, was Stada. And the cohabiter, lover, Baal, was Pantera. So she was married to Stada, but she committed adultery with Pantera. You see what they're saying about her? She was married to Stada, but the lover whom she committed adultery with was Pantera. Jesus in the Talmud, Scott. Get this book by Peter Schaefer. Scholarly work by a renowned, reputable scholar of Judaism. Okay? But was not the husband Papos ben Yehuda? So no one said, wait, I thought her husband was Papos. Okay, watch. Ben Yehuda. Rather, his mother Stada, and his mother's name was Stada. His mother was Miriam. Here it is. Miriam. So they're talking about Jesus. Miriam. The woman who let her woman's hair grow long. Man, I need glasses. Megadla Ser Nishaya. Having your hair untied was a sign that you were an wicked, immoral woman. So they're accusing Mary of letting her hair down because she was wicked and immoral. That's what he explains. Now watch. This is as they say about her in Pum Baditha. Pum Baditha. This one turned away from, was unfaithful to her husband. In other words, she committed adultery. That's why she had her hair down. Okay? See? Now watch what he says here. His mother's true name was Miriam, commenting. His mother's true name was Miriam. And Stada is an epithet which derives from the Hebrew Aramaic word sata, seti, to deviate from the right path, to go astray, to be unfaithful. In other words, his mother Miriam, this is what they're saying about her. His mother Miriam was also called Stada because she departed from the path, because she was a sota, a woman suspected or rather convicted of adultery. Okay? And I got a few more snippets. Okay, page 18. I'm going to quote right here. Get this book, brethren. Get it. Okay. The dubious reputation of our hero's mother, is further emphasized by the statement that she grew her hair to a great length. See? Women who are considered immoral, unruly, would let their hair hang low and long. So they describe Miriam that way, right? Whatever the original meaning of the old odd phrase, the context in Shabbat 104b, Sanhedrin 67a, clearly suggests that Miriam's long and apparently unfastened hair was indicative of her indecent behavior. Okay. Another passage in the Talmud, here 100b, describes the epitome of a bad woman, right, as follows. So what is a bad woman? Here's what a bad woman is, and they describe Mary as a bad woman. Quote, she grows long hair like Lilith. Megadelt sa'ar ke Lilith. See? She sits when making water like a beast, and she serves as a bolster for her husband. Similarly, the story in Gittin continues with, quote, a bad man who sees his wife go out with her hair unfastened and spin cloth in the street with her armpits uncovered and bathe with other people. Such a man, it concludes, should immediately divorce his wife instead of continuing to live with her and having intercourse with her. A woman who appears bareheaded and with long hair in public. So this is Mary. She had long hair unfastened in public, so she's a bad woman. And a bad woman is to be divorced. And that was Mary, Miriam. And then it says, if the Bavli takes it for granted that our hero's mother was an adulteress, then the logical conclusion follows that he was a mamzer. So what do they call him? Mamzer. That he was a mamzer, a bastard, or illegitimate child. So the Talmud calls him a bastard, illegitimate child. And then it says, but nevertheless, the Talmud seems to be convinced that Jesus' true follower was Pandera, his mother's lover, and that he was a bastard in the full sense of the word. Okay, there you go. Now, what did the Jews say about killing Jesus? But on pages 7 to 9, look what he says. Unlike Meyer and many of his predecessors, these other scholars, I, Peter Schaefer, start with the deliberately naive assumption that the relevant sources do refer to the figure of Jesus unless proven otherwise. So the burden is on you to show it's not Jesus, when the context shows it is Jesus. So disprove the sources. Hence, I put the heavier burden of proof on those who want to decline the validity of the Jesus passages. So he's saying he's challenging you. Prove me wrong. Okay? Pay attention. All right. More precisely, I do not see any reason, okay, any reason why the Tanaitic, Jesus ben Pantera, Jesus son of Pantera, and ben Stada, son of Spada, should not refer to Jesus. I don't see any reason why it doesn't refer to him. And I will justify this claim in my book. He's going to prove it. Then here he says, what do you learn about what the Talmud says about Jesus? Page 9. Okay. They ridicule Jesus' birth from a virgin, as maintained by the Gospels of Matthew and Luke, and they contest fervently the claim that Jesus is the Messiah and the Son of God. Most remarkably, they counter the New Testament Passion story with its message of the Jews' guilt and shame as Christ killers. So they're admitting, he's going to show you that in the Talmud, they admit we killed Christ. Instead, they reverse it completely. Yes, they maintain we accept responsibility. So we did kill Christ, but we killed him because he's not the Christ. That's why we killed him. He was a fake. He was a sorcerer. So we killed him because he's not the Christ. He's a sorcerer. Instead, they reverse what the New Testament says completely. Yes, they maintain, we accept responsibility. Stone says, yeah, we're responsible. But there is no reason to feel ashamed. So they're saying, there's no shame that we got him killed. Why? Because we rightfully executed a blasphemer. We were right, because he's not the Christ. He's a blasphemer, and there's no shame that we executed a blasphemer, an idolater. Jesus deserved death, and he got what he deserved. Okay? Now, let's see what they say about Jesus' death. Chapter 64, pages 64, 65. Okay, here you go. Abai said, he, the herald, must also say, it's telling the rules when it comes to putting someone to death, capital punishment. What must you do? Before you kill someone, you got to do this. So what do? On such and such a day, on such and such an hour, and in such and such a place, the crime was committed. So you got to announce what's the crime and the punishment. In case there are some who know to the contrary, so you give enough time for witnesses to come, so that they can come forward and prove the original witnesses to be false witnesses, having deliberately given false testimony. And a herald goes before him, etc. Indeed, before him, but not beforehand. Now watch. And they're going to give an example of Jesus. They gave 40 days for witnesses to come and testify on his behalf. No one showed up. Okay, now watch. However, in contradiction to this, it was taught, Tanya, on Sabbath eve, this is about Jesus now, on Sabbath, the eve of Passover, so they're admitting it was the eve of Passover and it was a high Sabbath, okay? Jesus the Nazarene was hanged, tala'uhu, and a herald went forth before him 40 days, heralding Jesus the Nazarene is going forth to be stoned because he practiced sorcery, kishif, and instigated, hissit, and seduced, hidiyah, Israel to idolatry. Whoever knows anything in his defense may come and state it, but since they did not find anything in his defense, they hanged him on Sabbath eve, the eve of Passover. Now, watch. Ula said, do you suppose that Jesus the Nazarene was one for whom defense could be made? Could someone have defended him? He was a mesit, someone who instigated Israel to idolatry, concerning whom the merciful God says, show him no compassion and do not shield him. Deuteronomy 13, verse 9, which Tovia Singer quotes against Jesus, by the way. And then here, finally, with Jesus, right here on this page, with Jesus the Nazarene, it was different, for he was close to the government, Malchut. Now, look at his comment, pages 73, 74, we're done. Quote, Peter Schaefer. Okay. The very fact that the Talmud's claim of Jesus' closeness to the Roman government reflects some knowledge, certainly not of the historical course of events, but of the New Testament narrative, particularly of John's version of it, does not come as a surprise anymore. What is more amazing is that this detail exonerates the Roman government from the blame of Jesus' condemnation, and consequently, adopting the gospel's message puts the thrust of the accusation on the Jews. I want you to pay attention to this, okay? You see what Peter Schaefer is saying right here? See what he's saying? He's saying the Talmud, shockingly, absolves the Romans of any responsibility, and the Talmud blames the Jews entirely for killing Jesus. The Talmud, are you listening? The Talmud mentions the Jews being responsible, not a reference to the Romans. So the Talmud is more anti-Semitic and anti-Jewish than the New Testament, because he's saying the Talmud says the Jews are held responsible and the Romans are exonerated. The Talmud. So what is that about the New Testament being anti-Semitic? The Talmud says the Jews took responsibility. They hang up. They didn't mention the Romans doing it. Okay? I have no definite answer to this rather odd conclusion. And even he's shocked. He goes, I have no answer to this odd conclusion. Why would the Jews in the Talmud take the blame entirely and no mention of the Romans' responsibility? He goes, I don't know. He says right here, I have no definite answer to this rather odd conclusion. But it may well have to do with the fact that this element of our story is not part of the early Palestinian Baraita, but of the 4th century, Common Era, Christian era, Babylonian discourse upon it. Could it be that the Babylonian Jews had a more relaxed attitude toward the Roman government in Palestine than their Palestinian brethren, who suffered increasingly from the Christian variety of Roman government? It's maybe because they're in Iraq, so they're not as antagonistic against the Romans as the Jews in Palestine were. Maybe. He's saying, I don't know. But the Jews in Babylonia must have known pretty well what was going on in Palestine in the 4th century. Ula, although a Babylonian Amora, had moved from Palestine to Babylonia and frequently traveled back and forth between Babylonia and Palestine. Moreover, it is one thing to follow the New Testament version that Pilate tried very hard to rescue Jesus, but it is quite another to accept the message that, therefore, the Jews are to be blamed for his death. On the other hand, we should not forget, right here, and we're done, we should not forget that it was also the gist of the Boraita's narrative that the Jews took upon themselves the responsibility for Jesus's execution. Okay? So the later Babylonian discourse may not want to accept the gospel's blame for Jesus' death. Rather, like the Boraita, but with different reasoning, it may want to convey the message, yes, here it is, I got underlined. Yes, the Roman governor wanted to set him free, but we did not give in. This is Peter Schaeffer's analysis of what the Jews in the Babylonian Talmud are saying. Peter Schaeffer, this is his analysis, page 74. Okay, so don't throw stones at me. Yes, he's saying this is what the Jews were reasoning. The Roman government wanted to set him free, but we did not give in. He was a blasphemer, an idolater, and although the Romans probably could not care less, we insisted that he get what he deserved. We even convinced the Roman governor, or more precisely forced him to accept that this heretic, an impostor, needed to be executed, and we are proud of it. And then he concludes right here, right here. Okay. What we then have here in the Bavli is powerful confirmation of the New Testament passion narrative. Thank you.